Now, this is going to be a little bit disturbing and probably pretty unsettling whenever I tell you this, but about a week ago, Donald Trump doubled down on his plans to audit the gold at Fort Knox, and it's looking like the Federal Reserve may get a gold audit of their own. But here's where it gets dark. It has been speculated that they have an actual tunnel from another vault that stores gold for one of the most powerful players in the entire gold game, and that the Fed in New York City can secretly fill their vaults, which many speculate to be actually empty. And guess what? This vault holds billions of dollars worth of gold, and it's from an entity that is very closely tied to the Federal Reserve itself, and you could almost consider them in cahoots with each other. Oh, and one other thing. You have definitely heard of this institution that owns the vault and holds all of the gold that's within spitting distance of the Federal Reserve's proverbial gold bullion vaults. Now, is there a global shortage on gold? Is the Treasury Department, the Federal Reserve, and even, dare I say, the global banks, are they lying about the reserves that they have? We are soon to find out. So pay attention to what is about to be unearthed in this video, because I'm going to catch you up on all of this insanity right now. But before we get into all of that, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Boom! Bang on that notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. I appreciate it. Now, let's just get straight into it. Look at this Rand Paul tweet. This came out a little over a week ago, and it's actually a letter to Scott Bassett formally asking to look into the gold at Fort Knox. So it's looking like Rand Paul is going to get his own little audit, and in this, he says despite holding over half of the total U.S. gold reserves, Fort Knox has not been subject to a formal audit since 1974. And we actually have some footage from when they opened the vault back in 1974, so obviously at that point in time, there was still some gold there, or what we think is gold, but what about now? So here's the full clip of Trump talking about exactly what they want to do at Fort Knox.
We're also going to Fort Knox. I'm going to go with Elon. And would anybody like to join us? Because we want to see if the gold is still there. We want to see. Wouldn't that be terrible? We open up this Fort Knox. It's just solid granite that's 5 feet thick. The front door, you need 6 musclemen to open it up. I don't even think they have windows. Wouldn't that be terrible if we opened it up and there was no gold there? So we're going to open those doors. We're going to take a look, and if there's 27 tons of gold, we'll be very happy. I don't know how the hell we're going to measure it, but that's okay. We want to see lots of nice, beautiful, shiny gold in Fort Knox. Don't be totally surprised. We open the door, we'll say, there's nothing here. They stole this too.
I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm innocent.
So this begs the question, will they find the gold there, or will it just be a bunch of IOUs and Donna Goodo just standing there in the vault saying, huh? And then we even have Elon Musk also talking about Fort Knox as well, even on the Joe Rogan podcast. And it seems quite concerning because that is the money of the American people. And one of the basic frameworks of our economy and financial ecosystem is that gold and the belief that it is there. They've included this on our balance sheet for literal decades, and it would be a detrimental flaw to find out that it was all an elaborate ruse or that it's been siphoned off potentially illegally. This could literally kill our entire economy and currency in one quick swoop. So here's the clip of Elon talking about Fort Knox's gold, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what would happen if there's no gold there.
Tell us about Fort Knox.
Yeah.
It's Kentucky, it's a military base, it's a ton of gold, tons and tons and tons
like
of gold.
5,000 tons of gold or something?
5,000 tons
take,
of gold
you know?
are there in the ground and like this, I mean, it's a very secure
thing. I
thing.
think we all want to see it.
I'd love to see it.
Like, this is your gold, by the way. It's the public's gold.
Do you think it's not there?
I don't know. But I think
you just want to see it.
Yeah, we want to go see it and just make sure, like, somebody did spray paint some lead or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, is this real gold? Fight at the bar, you know?
Didn't dent.
But I think, honestly, you know, part of this also is just like, let's have some fun and like I said, all this gold at Fort Knox, it's the public's gold. It's your gold. So, like, I think you have, like, a right to see it.
You want to take a tour?
You know? Yeah, I think we should have it do a tour. And then the president last night was like, I think he's in favor of it. That would be cool. And then it should be like a live tour. Like, you can see what's going on, open the door, like, what's behind it.
Well, and there's...
You know, I think I'd watch that.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, what does 5,000 tons of gold look
totally.
like?
What does
How
it
big
look
is
like?
that? Is it the size of this?
It's got to be pretty
stage?
big,
I mean,
you know?
It's got to be a lot of
Maybe
gold.
there's some other stuff in there, like just walk around, like, I don't know, maybe they got some other stuff in there.
Are you thinking about auditing the Federal Reserve as well, which is obviously
yeah, sure.
Regulatory economy?
So there you have it. Elon Musk saying that he's willing to audit the gold at the Federal Reserve as well as the gold at Fort Knox. And as some of you know, the New York vault is supposed to hold over 13 million troy ounces of gold. That's a lot of gold. And I want to point out that with the Fort Knox audit, they could simply move the gold from some of those other locations to beef out the vaults at Fort Knox. And then after the audit is over, they could move all of that gold back to those other vaults. Then we have a very eerie problem with the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Their vault is located next door to another massive gold vault. Coincidence? Well, this one is controlled by none other than JP Morgan, and I will let Mike Maloney explain what this actually means.
Is the Fed's rarely discussed auxiliary vault and suggests that the auxiliary vault of the Fed is probably located in the neighboring Chase Manhattan Plaza facility, now run by JP Morgan. And if there is, as has been suggested, we know that JP Morgan vaults are 5 floors below ground, right across the street from the Federal Reserve vaults, which are 5 floors below ground. Now, there is a reason for that coincidence. That's where the bedrock starts. And so you go all the way down until you hit bedrock, and both of these vaults are going to be roughly at the same level. But since there's an auxiliary vault that's not part of the main vaults underneath the Fed, could there be that tunnel? If there is, that has to be, the military needs to take charge of that tunnel and make sure nothing comes through.
So look, if they can build tunnels thousands of feet long, hundreds of feet below the ground, the Hudson River, back in the early 1900s, I think a small tunnel between a couple of skyscrapers is probably going to be essentially no problem to them. But hey, that's pure speculation. And here are a couple of photos of an abandoned tunnel of the Hudson and Manhattan Railroad along that route between the World Trade Center basements and the Federal Reserve basements, and this was exposed during the World Trade Center cleanup. So there certainly could be underground tunnels that we absolutely don't know about, or that they don't want us to know about. And again, here are some photos of the plans that were used to build the Federal Reserve Bank, and there are actually some inconsistencies in the thickness of the walls. And then here's a close-up of some of the plans for the basement levels. Look a little bit weird? So you can see that basement level C, D, and finally E are about 50 feet below the ground. So there's definitely been some modifications over the years. Did they include a tunnel or not? We may never know. I think a lot of us are going to be pretty suspicious of some type of shenanigans when we see unprecedented amounts of gold flowing into the COMEX. This is coming from London, it's coming from Switzerland, and it's making its way to guess where? None other than the United States and New York. So lots of gold coming to America. We've got gold audits in Fort Knox, possibly the Federal Reserve. I think all of us just want some answers and we want some clarity. But all of those coincidences lining up all at the same time, preemptively, before all these gold audits are announced, is pretty weird, and I think we can all agree upon that. We just want to know, is the gold really there? Is it actually there? And if it is it owned by the United States of America, or is it pledged to somebody else? These are simple questions that we should all be hopefully getting the answers to in the near future. So this is just my bias, but you know there's a very simple way to verify these things. You could literally just get an independent accounting firm like Pricewaterhouse or one of the other big firms, send auditors all simultaneously to every single one of these sites where the government keeps the gold. So whether it be in New York or Kentucky, Fort Knox, you could have eyes laying on all of the gold all at the same time by independent auditors, all different. I don't mean audited by the government. I mean truly independent auditors, and have a firm from outside of the government verify the quantity, the cost basis of all of it, all of that stuff. Because part of the problem, if there's those who believe that even if the gold there is not our gold, we're just storing it for another country, or it's sitting there, but it's already essentially sold to someone else and just not delivered to them. That's what a lot of people are speculating. So those are things that an independent auditor could absolutely ferret out. Now, if there was not any gold there, I think there'd be a run up on gold like we've never seen, and potentially on other metals, because there would basically be panic buying, not only among the people that keep their pulse on the gold markets like me, but even more so from people who know nothing about gold. It would likely be a mass panic buying scenario, and people would likely just scream in, trying to get some of the gold, so then it would cause the price of gold to go up, skyrocketing its value. Now, I personally want the gold to just be in the vaults, but here's the other thing too. It's almost like this illusion that it's there, but how do we know that it's actually pure gold and that it's actually sitting there and that it's not just something that's been replaced, right? I mean, I'm just thinking of possibilities here. It could be plated. It could not even be there. It could not be gold at all, right? I mean, a thorough audit would literally include forensics, assay tests of every single bar. Imagine the burden of proof and the undertaking of this amount of gold in so many different locations. Like, this is a massive operation to verify that this is all there. And the government knows that, and that's why there's not really been any audits, right? So the other thing, which is a bit controversial versus what some of you out there might think, but what if the gold's gone? I mean, they say that the gold belongs to all of us, right? Do you have access to it? Does it benefit you directly? And so if it's gone, I'm not saying I'm in favor of it being gone. I'm definitely not. But if it's gone, how exactly will your life change? That's what a lot of people are saying. Well, I think one thing would be that if it tanks the dollar, it would be absolute chaos. It would be crazy. Since the dollar is not backed by gold now, if it tanked, it would be an emotional thing, not something financial that is a direct relation. Just think about it. The confidence would be gone in our currency, our economy, and our government and our country as a whole. If they're lying about this, what else are they lying about? It would ruin, absolutely ruin the confidence in just about everything to do with the government, but some people say it wouldn't affect our day-to-day lives per se, since it's not actually in our pocket, it's not in our safe, it's not under our mattress, etc. So this is a hot take. I 100% disagree with that sentiment. This could literally, if that gold is gone, kill our economy, ruin our entire financial standing in the world. Our currency would essentially go to 50% of the value of what it is almost overnight. We would probably lose the world reserve currency status, and then you would see all of the risk assets like stocks and cryptocurrencies selling off in an absolutely unprecedented and ridiculous fashion. These are the assets that are going to get absolutely murdered if this gold isn't there and the US dollar starts tanking. Your stocks and your cryptos, that is going down. You would probably see gold absolutely skyrocket to unprecedented numbers, but all of the money in all of these other markets, like crypto and stocks, when they're selling off, is going to flow out of them, crashing our economy, and then flow into the gold markets and potentially even silver. Imagine your dollar being worth 50% overnight. Your home value goes down. Interest rates skyrocket. A Snickers bar now costs $3 overnight instead of $1.50. It will literally affect every single thing in your day-to-day life. That is one thing that I can assure you. So this is a very crucial and critical point in the essential life cycle of our nation, of our financial standing, of our economies, of our currencies, and of the worldly currencies, okay? So we need to see how this plays out. In my opinion, I am long gold. If that gold is there, I think gold is going to go up. If gold is not there, I think gold is going to go up at an even more exponential rate. The only difference is that if it is there and we revalue it, I think risk assets like stocks and cryptocurrencies will pump as well. That could kick off bull runs in those markets, but I do think that gold is going to go up either way if they go and do these audits. Is there something super sinister that we're not seeing inside of these markets? Could the Federal Reserve have absolutely no gold and borrow it from JP Morgan? It's a possibility. Is it a probability? I don't know. We will see. Is there a probability that they're actually going to audit this in the right way with an independent auditor and independent auditors going to all of the different locations to verify them at the exact same time so that they can't just kind of like bing bong the gold around to all of these different places? I don't know. We will see. But What I can say is that this is going to be a pivotal point in the history of our world, and I will be one of the people that will be reporting it. So if you like content like this, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Boom! Bang on that notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. Pay attention because I will be dropping more videos covering this and talking about this as it actually develops. And I do trades every single day on gold, cryptocurrencies, whatever you want on my channel. So with that being said, I appreciate you for showing up to this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, everyone.